Alright, in this video I want to talk about Christian atheism, not what is shown here. This is Christian atheist, believing in God but living as if he doesn't exist. This is not what I want to talk about, not at all. I want to actually talk about something I just learned about, and it was this overeducated fella who's obviously thinking too much, saying that he's a Christian atheist, because at the heart of Christianity is atheism. And he's saying that when Jesus died on the cross, that God died, that God canceled himself out, and that there's no longer an omnipotent being, an all-powerful, all-present, all-knowing God. And if you are to find God, since, he's canceled out, you need to actually find love. I'm going to let that sink in for a second. Now, hopefully you found that as ridiculous as I did. Now, finding love, feeling love, expressing love, that is great because God is love. So if love exists, God exists. But anyway, you can see if you're Christian and you know the Bible, you know this guy's just making stuff up, right? He's just taken a few things that he thinks he knows about Christianity, since he obviously hasn't read the Bible and really doesn't seem to know anything about Christianity, and just taken a few things that he's heard and turning it into what he wants it to be and making it into an atheistic religion and just basing it on what he wants to believe and not on reality, right? So what I want to do is clarify on this about Jesus and God dying on the cross. Because this is a problem that Muslims have as well, because they're like, God can't die. Yet, I find it a little bit stranger with Muslims than atheists, because atheists think we are our body, but Muslims, they know that we got something else to us that either goes to hell or goes to heaven, right? And that would be our soul, right? So, if our body dies, it's not us. It's basically our car breaking down, and we leave, and we can be given a new body by Christ, a new car to drive around, right? So we are not our body. It's kind of like the little mind game people play to teach you that you're not your body. They cut off your foot, and they go, "Oh, did you lose your body?" I mean, not your body. Like, who are you your body? That's what I meant to say. They teach you if you are your body, and they teach you that you're not your body because they say, okay, I cut your foot off. Is that you? I cut your leg off. Is that you? I cut your arms and your legs off. Is that you? I remove every vital organ, not non-vital organ, from your body. So even like your eyes, your ears, your tongue, some other organs that you could live without. If I remove all those things, did I remove you? Are you still you? It's how much do I gotta take away before I actually take you away? Right? And the whole point of that exercise is to get you to realize that you are not your body. You animate your body. Right? And scientists have been wanting to do this, and that's where you get the story of Frankenstein, and that is to take a perfectly healthy body and reanimate it, to bring it to life. But it can't be done. Because you can take a perfectly healthy body where somebody who died of kidney failure, you preserve their body but remove their kidneys and give them new kidneys, healthy kidneys, and get the heart started with electricity and keep it pumping, and get the lungs going with an iron lung or something so that everything's functioning. You can get everything functioning, right? The blood's flowing, oxygen, everything's working, but it's not going to animate, it's not going to have consciousness because there's no soul to it. Because you're not your body. So just because you got the body running again doesn't mean you brought the person back to life. Now, maybe you can get possessed by, a demon or a jinn or something, but that's just something for a horror movie, I suppose. But anyway, that's why I wanted to bring up how the Bible talks about how you have a body, soul, and a spirit. And I don't know if this is a good actual representation, but I'm going to use it just to have something visual so that we can talk about it. Before I get into this, really, I want to talk about a couple things in the Bible. The Bible talks about in Genesis that God created Adam out of the dust of the earth, right, out of clay, and then breathed a soul into the body, so that man became a living soul. It wasn't just a body, right? So I'm going to take that and explain it a little deeper, so just remember that for right now. But for right now, we see something about the spirit of man. I'm going to read a couple things about that. Proverbs chapter 20 at verse 27, it says, "The spirit of man is the candle of the Lord, searching all the inward parts of the belly." Right? So I mainly wanted to point out that the Bible says we have a spirit. There's a spirit of man. And it's all throughout the body, right? But this is different from the soul because of what we read here. The spirit returns to God, but the soul is your individuality. All right? In Ecclesiastes chapter 3 at verse 20, it says, "All go on to one place, all are of the dust, and all turn to dust again." This is referring to the body. All right? Because it then says, "Who knoweth the spirit of man that goeth upward, and the spirit of the beast that goeth downward to the earth?" So it said if you're all just dust and you turn to dust, what is it talking about your spirit going up and the spirit of the beast going down? What? And the beast means like animals and whatnot, if you weren't clear on that. So the spirit of the animal kingdom goes down to the earth, but the spirit of man goes up, returns to God, but our bodies turn to dust, because that's what they're made out of. So when our bodies die, we don't die. Our soul lives on forever. And we either reject Jesus and go to hell, or we accept Jesus and go to heaven. Who we really are is the soul. Now, another thing I want to point out is in John chapter 4, it says, "God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth." Key point here is God is a spirit. So when we come back here, God is a spirit, and he put his own soul into a body. He's still everywhere, all-knowing and all-powerful, but he put himself into a body. He used a virgin to create this body. It's not a body of fornication. It's a body straight from God. And this body was nailed to a cross and murdered. But Jesus says, "Do not fear the one who can destroy the body, but fear the one who can destroy the body and soul in hell." Because you are your soul animating your body. So he's saying, don't worry about who can destroy the body, because you'll be fine. And God can give you a new body at the resurrection. You're not your body. So when Jesus is nailed to that cross, it's the body that dies, the flesh, not God, but his body. You take it as he is dying, But that's because you have a carnal mind that's all about the material world and have obviously no sense of a spiritual world whatsoever. And with Muslims, they just limit God completely. Like if God came as a man, then well, if he's dead, he's dead. He's gone. And it's just like their concept of God doesn't seem to make any sense whatsoever. Uh, and Jesus is the Son of God because Jesus is the body of God. He's the father of his own body, right? He created himself. We don't do that. We are not our own father. God is. So hopefully this explains it a bit more, because it's the Trinity. I know the Trinity is tricky for the Muslim. They think it's silly or strange, but we're made of that. Even our own bodies, we look at it, the mirror image we got of our body. If we, our left hand, right hand, mirror image, our left foot, right foot, mirror image. We split our face down the middle, it's a mirror image. And we got the 2 ears, 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, the 2 mandibles that connect the jaw, the 2 lungs, 2 kidneys, the 2 parts of the heart that pump together, right? There's a lot of these joined, symmetrical parts to our body. And our brain, two halves that come together. The left more about the logic and reason, while the right is more artistic and abstract. And we see 2, right? And you're like, where's the Trinity? Well, we see the 2 with the body, right? And then it's animated by the soul. All right? So, to break this down again, God creates a body for us, right? It's physical. So it's like a car, right? He creates a car and he puts a soul in it. We are the soul. The soul is our consciousness, our free will, right? And it goes into the body. And the soul comes from the spirit, and we connect to God by the spirit, not with the body, but with the spirit. And when the body dies, the soul is set free. That's you. You're not dead. Your body is. And then you're either thrown into hell or you go to heaven, depending on if you accept Jesus or not. So, let's break this down a little bit more to end this video with something about salvation here. Your body is sinful and it wants to sin. It's an animal, right? And you can tell with like people who want to be Muslim because their reward is to have something like 78 virgins waiting for them when they go to heaven, right? So that's our carnal nature. That's our carnal desire. That's not a godly desire, right? That's what our body wants. Our soul gets entangled and attached to the body. And the Bible tells us that the soul that touches the unclean thing will die. Jesus comes, dies on the cross, and his actions actually circumcise the soul from the body. So he cuts it. So now your soul is still in the body, but it's not attached to the body. So now when you die, you don't have to go to hell with your body and burn and suffer. You actually get to go to heaven with Jesus because you've been separated. But this circumcision only happens if you accept Jesus, because when you accept Jesus, you become one flesh with him. It's a marriage ceremony. You become married to God by faith. And when you do that, you join to him, and by that faith, your body is crucified with his body and is put to death. And the Bible talks about how the spirit wars against the flesh, and the flesh against the spirit. And they're at enmity against each other. That's why God put to death the flesh. And if you, by faith, accept Jesus, your body, it will be put to death. With Jesus' body, your soul will be set free. You get to go to heaven with God. So when Jesus dies on the cross, for all intents and purposes, he's dead. Because for what we know, we are a body, right? But he's not dead because we have a soul that is not connected to the body. But anyway, I just had to bring that up because I was like, wow, Christian atheism? I was like, this is the silliest thing. And maybe it's bigger than I know because it's been spreading and I just hearing about it, or it's about to start spreading. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to make a video about it. Nip it in the butt. But anyway, thanks for watching and take care.